Anyone that's done much shopping in the new or used car market recently knows that 2020 and 2021 brought on quite a bit more than just a toilet paper shortage. There's also an incredibly widespread automotive shortage, and that has driven prices completely through the roof. Now, for those that don't know, I've been looking for a replacement for my 2013 Mustang GT for about 6 or 7 months now. I totaled it last fall, and I've been looking at the market and there just wasn't much available. But I did finally find something, and I think you guys are going to like it. So for anyone that knows me pretty well, what's behind me is not a big shock. Obviously, I got another Mustang. So to give you a little bit of a backstory on my history with Mustangs, started when I believe I was probably 19 or 20. I picked up a 1966 Mustang Coupe. It was pretty beat up. It needed a lot of work. The engine somewhat ran, but it needed a lot of work, had rust, everything. So I picked that up. I worked on it for probably 2 or 3 years, I would say. I replaced the floor pans. I did a bunch of engine work, stripped all it out, rebuilt the transmission, redid the whole interior. I mean, I sunk a lot of money into that thing. And finally, I ended up deciding to go the route of buying a house. So that was, the car just no longer kind of fell into those plans from a financial aspect. But I did learn a lot of things on that car, and I would not trade that for anything. So I think probably I started really liking the Mustangs when I was probably 13 or 14, somewhere in there. I was just getting where I could learn how to drive and everything, and just seeing them out on the road, I was like, wow, those are some really good looking cars. They just had that classic muscle look, and I just really liked them. And then as I was getting closer to graduating, they were coming out with the 13 and 14 new body style redesign and everything. And I was like, wow, those cars look really good. So shortly after I moved into my house, I started realizing that my gas hog truck was not the greatest option for getting back and forth to work, going to town, getting groceries and everything. And I needed something with a little better gas mileage. So I started shopping around, and I found a pretty clean 2011 Mustang V6. It was the first year they came out with a 3.7, so it had 100 horsepower more than the previous year's V6, and actually had the same amount of horsepower as the 2010 and previous GTs, which was pretty good. I mean, it had a little over 300 horsepower from the factory, which was great for a little car like that. And it got like 25 to 30 miles to the gallon, which that was great in my book. So I think I had that car for like one to 2 years, somewhere in there, and I basically peaked out any drivability that it was going to give me. I mean, I had maxed out its potential. I was ready to move on to something else. So I started shopping around, found the 2013 GT that you saw in the previous little clip. And that thing, I mean, that was about another 100 horsepower bump up. It was 420 from the factory, and very good car, very clean, fast. I mean, it was an amazing car. Now, as I said earlier, unfortunately that car ended up getting totaled, and to make things really bad, I don't even have a cool video like half these Mustang guys that are crashing have. So that's probably the main thing that really bums me out. But I guess things all worked out, because fast forward to today, I picked up this 2015 S550 that is supercharged. So now we get into the real fun. Now, as you can see, there's more than just a 5-liter Coyote underneath this hood. There is a 2.7-liter TVS Roush supercharger. Now, Roush claims this kit is their 670 horsepower kit. From what I've looked at on YouTube and whatnot, people are getting about mid-500s out of that, which is crazy. I mean, my last car had 420 at the crank, so this is a considerable increase in power than what I've ever driven in my life before. I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing up, take it out for a drive, and I'll let you guys know what my thoughts are on it compared to my 2013. Now, when comparing this car to my S197, which is the model that the 2013s fall under, I mean, the interior, sorry guys, it's way better. There's really no comparison. To me, the 2013 Mustang, the 2014s, which was the last year of the S197, that was the last year of the Mustangs really being a muscle car. You had the live rear axle, you had just the muscle car look. When they came out with the S550s in 2015, which is what this is, it was a little different. It went more to a sports car type look, in my opinion. I mean, still a great looking car, but it just doesn't have the muscle car, the classic muscle car look that the S197 cars had. Which, that category I will definitely give to my 2013 all day. No comparison to me, anyway, on the looks. As far as interior goes, the seats are so much more comfortable. These aren't even Recaros. These are just the premium pack leather seats, which is the same as what I had in my 2013. However, premium pack to premium pack, 2015 blows it away. The seats they hug you so much more. The center console, the cup holders are placed so much better. I always hated that in my 2013. Your hand was always couldn't maneuver the shifter properly if you had a drink in your cup holder, which was incredibly annoying. The touchscreen system in this is only Sync 2. They came out with Sync 3 in 2016, but the Sync 2 system even is so much better than the dumpster fire that I had in that 2013. It was so unresponsive to touch. It was just terrible. Everything about the screen itself is completely better to me than the 2013, other than the actual sound. The sound to me was better in the old one. I don't know if it's something different they did with the sub box. The one in this one is kind of tucked into the side of the trunk, whereas in my 2013 it was a box just kind of set in there. But they both have the badass shaker systems that are supposedly the top of the line of what they had to offer. But to me, the sound was just a lot better in the 2013. As far as gauges go, really not a whole lot of difference. I think I like these ones a little better. They both had the My Color system. The center screen is the same in both. They both got the track apps. Nothing really all that different there. The main difference, I will say, is just the general feel of the car. It feels a lot smoother in this one. You don't feel nearly as, I don't know how you really say it. I guess the raw power of the car in the 2013, you just felt more engaged. Like that live rear axle, you felt everything on the road more. This car, it soaks up everything so much more. The steering feels a lot smoother. It's just a lot more effortless. Whereas with the 2013, you really had to be on top of everything, and it just was a more raw car. As far as going through the corners, the independent suspension in the S550s, man, it's good. It's really good. I know with my S197, I would go around corners super fast, and I'd feel like the back end was starting to like kind of float, especially if you hit any type of bump. It didn't feel as connected to the road as this car does. This car just feels like the more planted car, and if you're looking for a car to cruise around, have some fun on the twists and turns, this is by far the better car, I think. Drop down to second here, about 30 miles an hour. It's just spinning. It's spinning in third. That thing's screaming. That's a 120 right there, guys. I mean, it flew up like it was nothing. Like nothing at all. My old car, I mean, it was fast from, I don't know, if you went from like a 30 roll, it would get up to 80 or 90 or so, but it'd start tapering off quick. With this one, that speedometer starts whipping around, and doesn't stop. At 120, it's moving just as fast up as it was at about 80. I mean, it just flies, and it's got so much more to put out too. There's just really no roads where it's all that safe to try that out at. This does have the factory 265 rear tires, which are garbage. Whoever put the blower on this thing really messed up by not doing tires as well. The 265s, my old car, I want to say it had 275s, and even it had a hard time hooking, and that was under stock power. I mean, it had an intake, and I think that was about it. But to put a supercharger on something and go roll with the stock tires, 265s, I mean, really? These things have a hard time hooking up under stock power. Just not a very smart thing to do when you're putting an additional 150 plus horsepower to the wheels. Gotta have some wider tires. That's definitely going to be on my quick list of upgrades. Now, of course, the real question, and the only question that anybody cares about, is will it do a burnout? We're going to find out. Destroy every bit of tire that I have left, because I would like these to last at least for this season. Probably going to get wheels and tires this winter, but I think it's safe to say it does a pretty good burnout. I will say though, I think getting the initial burnout going, I think my old car was a little easier than this one. Not sure why. I think it probably has to do with this being the independent suspension. It almost tries to hop a little bit. Whereas with the S197 and the solid rear axle, it seemed to just hook right up and get to spinning. Well guys, that's gonna about do it for today's video. Just kind of wanted to give everybody an overview on the new car and kind of a bit of a backstory on my previous cars and what led up to this car. I have had it for a few months now, so there have been a few things I've done to it already, so we will have more content coming soon. I have done some pillar gauges I installed, so there will be kind of a tutorial on how to do that for any other Mustang people out there that are looking to do the same thing. I know when I was looking on YouTube, there wasn't many videos that really showed much and that were very helpful regarding that, so hopefully my video will help everyone out. I hope to have that released in probably next week. Also, I've been spending quite a bit of time getting kind of a new, not really recording studio set up, but kind of a place where I can work on my videos when I'm not like actually videoing in the car or on the jet ski or the side-by-side, what have you. So that'll be kind of cool. I'm going to get a lot of my old Hot Wheels and stuff kind of set up in there, some flags, signs, and whatnot, make it kind of a cool little recording place, and I'm excited to show you guys that too. So yeah, that's gonna about wrap it up for this one, and we'll catch you guys later.